evening. My name is Alexander Hagan. I'm the CEO of a small, medium-sized tech company. And tonight I want to talk to you about the popular perception that Ron Paul is unfairly using the arcane delegate selection procedures, which is newspeak for voting for delegates, to manipulate and unfairly obtain an advantage, which is quite ludicrous when you think of the vast advantage that Romney has, in that as an underdog with vastly less resources, but a very active, vigilant, aroused, energized base, Paul is simply doing what he can to build their movement. And when people say he should drop out, what of the third-party option? So if you look at polls recently of third-party options, Paul scores pretty close to 20%, 17 perhaps. And if he can hit 20, there's no reason why they would keep him out of debates. Of course, they will anyway. And as a result, he would broaden his appeal most likely, depending on how well Obama is able to outmaneuver him verbally. But it can be difficult to evade constantly the truth with talking points, the truth that our country is sinking under the weight of incorrectly directed spending that's highly deficit driven, and there's very little good evidence to show that any country is going to be able to grow economically with this kind of burden. So what we have to do, if I may make an aside, is we have to shift the military, homeland security, prison, and war on drugs, war on terror systems over to civilian production and beat these swords into plowshares. The actual fact is that Ron Paul supporters are being physically attacked, harassed, having conventions shut down, having the lights turned off during conventions, and state after state. In fact, I compiled a list of articles, and what I came up with so far as a color code, these are the states I've been able to really quickly find bad things happening in that are really unfair to the Paul campaign. So today, of course, we have this issue in Louisiana, which I will try to produce for you right now. Okay, so this is a guy in Florida who was beaten by the Gingrich campaign, and then I'll just briefly segment for you.
Eddie Dillard is here, word, and gave me the perfect opportunity to hold my Ron Paul sign right behind his head in front of all the cameras. Perfect.
This is Gingrich just coming in.
So then what happened? So he, at the time, there was one security guard behind him who was telling me to move. And now, what right does he have to tell you to move? Well, none, and that's why I told him I wouldn't move, and I was there first. Good. So after he, continually, harassed me and told me that if my sign was to touch the speaker or his wife, we'd have big problems. The sign? What if you're going to assault them? Yeah, I'm going to beat you with this plastic sign. Well, so I told him, I said, tell your guys to quit pushing me and, quit knocking the sign out, trying to knock the sign out of my hand, and it won't touch the speaker or his wife. He didn't like that idea too much.
So you get the point. It's segment 1 of 2 about a man getting his foot broken by Gingrich security for daring to hold a Ron Paul sign up. This is a Gingrich incident in Florida. So here's a typical article. Unruly behavior seemed to be the rule of the day as non-delegates attempted to crash conventions, usurp the authority of the chairs, and instigate battles over which delegates get selected to the district and state conventions. One Ron Paul supporter went so far as to threaten a lawsuit against state county GOP. So this is a kind of strident tone taken against him, whereas in fact, let's take a look here. And I would like to make one more brief aside, which is when you read these, it really strongly reminds you of brown shirts, Hitler's brown shirts, not because everything devolves back to Hitler, but at least with the Bolsheviks, they had a coherent philosophy that wasn't based on being bigoted, racist, versus the Nazis. And the Nazis use this sort of coercion and threat against from their political class in the parliament. They would beat people up and so forth. And so there was even a commotion about Rick Perry laying his arm, grabbing Ron Paul's arm at a convention. A lot of speculation about whether that was physically intimidating. That was, as I said, Rick Perry. So we go through these. Here's an Oklahoma State Convention assault report. And these all have evidence, as I'll try to show you. Here's the guy's got his fingers broken yesterday. And this was the elected chairman of the caucus. There's the lead into the Rick Perry assault. In Massachusetts, they tried to disenfranchise and strip the Ron Paul delegates. And they're basically trying to change the rules after the election to rewrite history, and they're doing it pretty efficiently in a lot of places. Massachusetts, they're partly successful. There's a fraud incident. Now, when I say alleged fraud and so forth, I've studied these things, and I can't vouch for every single example, but there's like 5 or 6 different sources, local journalists. I'm not just pulling stuff off of the web. I'm familiar with each of these cases. I just want to put this together for tonight. We all know in Maine there were severe problems with disenfranchisement as they closed 2 counties that were rumored to be fielding strong Paul delegations. And didn't even count their votes, and there was many other irregularities. Counties reporting in 0 Paul votes where he would have been at the physical meeting, where there might have been 80 or 90 voters in the county. So recalling the calls were different from what was reported by the Central Committee. Lots of irregularities there. Here's the issue about the GOP threatening Nevada after Nevada had already had a severe Paul voter intimidation attack in 2008, where they were literally checked out of the campaign, checked out of the convention. They were arrested in Missouri as well as assaulted in the chaos there. Let's see if any of these actually shows the assault in Missouri. Here it is again. Police arrest Paul backers in Missouri. This is in Nevada. And in Washington, it was pretty crummy too. They threw them out and shut the lights off. And this is just a brief sampling. So what I would like to show you briefly, let's see here now. Let's see. Now here's the, I had a hard time finding this business about Alaska. Paul delegates who had given weeks and months of lives to get elected as delegates to precinct county were scandalized. Okay, let's see. They play fast and loose with the rules. Let's see if I can find this. He's dealing with the issue of Paul delegates, taking a show from Missouri. They tried to convene outside the venue in the parking lot. This is in Washington, claiming a plurality and calling new things in order. Was it too late? Challenges will surely follow. So this is Doug Weed's site. Ron Paul stuns in Arizona upset win as game changer. Okay, and then here's the business here.
In August, Mitt Romney will more than likely be the Republican candidate for the general election, but Ron Paul supporters flooded the convention floor and became the majority, electing their own delegates to send to Tampa for the national convention.
It's about all of us. It's about Ron Paul. It's about liberty. It's about the Constitution.
There were also high tensions prior to the beginning of the convention after voting rules were changed by the state Republican Party to protect delegates previously won by Romney and Rick Santorum during Louisiana's presidential primary last year. And those tensions came to a climax when Henry Herford, a newly appointed committee chairman by the Ron Paul majority, was taken to the ground by Shreveport police. This is amateur video taken during the incident. In it, you can hear Herford screaming he has a physical handicap and claims he suffered injury during the altercation. Herford was arrested by off-duty police officers providing security after a spokesperson with police in Shreveport say he refused to exit the building.
So The word about this man is he was taken to the hospital and got 2 fingers broken. And then you can see there's more of these articles about this, the assault. Let's see here. So I'm afraid that's all I have for you tonight. This is serious. It's a travesty against our democracy, but that's going to have to wrap it for now. Good night and good luck.